Hello. Now can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had it muted while everyone was talking. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay. So membership, please, if you attended the AM Rotary football party or the highway cleanup, send Lisa Goodell an email or so she can write you down for a makeup. While we no longer require a certain level of participation of our members, we still track the percentage of attendance to Rotary International, and it counts towards our goals at year end. And we want to remember that this is a service organization, not on a sit on your butt organization. So it is very important for us to document the good work that you all do. Thank you. Let's see. Joni, you want to come up with your announcement? Let's see. Just a minute.
All right. Tomorrow is something you've been hearing about for a week and a half now. Tomorrow is World Polio Day, October 24th. And we're bringing up a very short video by Rotary International President Gordon McAnally's. It's his message. All right. Well, my notes say play video. So President Ruth sent you an email today with the link to donate tomorrow for this cause tomorrow, because they're trying to get as much as possible. And of course, if they get their $50 million goal.
Greetings, my Rotary family.
Yes.
World Polio Day on the 24th. Our opportunity to celebrate our progress towards polio eradication and moving people to act, so we can reach the finish line, eliminating forever the emotional burden children and parents face in dealing with this devastating disease. 2023 is a critical year for polio eradication efforts, as the Global Polio Eradication Initiative aggressively works to achieve two significant milestones reflected in our strategic plan. The first milestone is to interrupt the transmission of wild polio virus type 1. Only 2 countries remain endemic for the wild polio virus, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Intensified efforts in both countries have resulted in the fewest numbers of virus types in history, validating our progress. Second milestone is to report the last case of circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 in those areas that are prone to repeated polio outbreaks that can be so difficult to control. They are also home to some of the largest populations of zero-dose children. That is, children who are either unvaccinated or under-vaccinated. Although the number of cases is down from 2022, experience tells us that even one case is one too many. And polio has repeatedly shown us that it's difficult to get across the finishing line and eliminate the virus. Our work together has brought us to the threshold of a polio-free world. We're 99.9% of the way there. We need to work together to get through this final mile. Every Rotary member needs to be part of this effort in some way. Please donate funds and let's meet our target of $50 million to earn the full 2-to-1 match from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Donate time and continue to spread awareness that polio is ours to eradicate if we work together. You've done incredible work thus far, and you will get us over that finish line and take us to victory. Together, let's give this amazing gift to the world's children. Together, we end polio.
Yeah.
Greetings, my Rotary family.
In case you missed it the first
World
time.
Polio.
Yeah. Goodbye. Okay. I will be donating $195 tomorrow to this cause, not personally. It's all from you. Remember, we give $15 as an honorarium for all our speakers. And that's what it is so far this year in our Rotary year. So I'll be donating that 195. So it's basically 195 a quarter. We give about 600 a year to this cause just from the club, just from you coming to meetings. So thank you very much. And remember to donate tomorrow. The link's in that email.
Very good. Thank you very much, Joni. So Kenneth Imarua has been reviewed and accepted by both the membership committee and the board of directors for membership into our club. Many of you know him from earlier, before COVID, when he was a member. It is now the club's turn to report back to the secretary, Lisa, in the next 10 days if you have any question, if he personifies the values of Rotary. November 3rd, I actually going to have to play a happy buck for this because this is an announcement. November 3rd, there is an opening reception at the Pearl City Clay House and a day of free activities for a art show by the International Online Art Collective. And I thought this was appropriate to announce to the group since we have had the Clay City folks here. I mean, the Pearl City Clay House folks here. And I'll pass around this brochure about it's a free reception and free art classes the next day by this online group, which has a local and international people, members of it. November 16th at 11 a.m., Literacy Committee is going to meet by Zoom. And if there are any additional announcements by committee chairs, I bet we have a social committee announcement.
Hi. On your tables, there is a flyer, a reminder of next week's social event. We are not having our noon meeting next Monday night or next Monday noon. And so join us Monday night at Southern Tier Brewery for our social. 5 to 8 is the time frame, but you can come and go as you need to. I know everyone's lives are very busy, so don't feel like you have to spend all 3 hours in order to come. Come for an hour if that's what you're able to do. I have been passing around a sign-up sheet. If you haven't emailed me yet, go ahead and write down your name on there, or you can take one of the flyers with you if you need to check your calendar at home and email me sometime in the next couple of days. I just want to give Southern Tier a heads up on our number. You don't need to pay ahead or anything like that because you are just going to order from the menu whatever you'd like and cover your own bill. So very simple. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Emily. Are there any other announcements by committee chairs or?
Ruth, I just wanted to announce the parent meeting, the youth exchange informational meeting on Thursday night at 7 o'clock at St. Luke's. We'll be in the Undercroft back in the stage area. Anybody who's interested in the program and hosting, if knows a student, please have them come and we'll be happy to share information.
Great. Thank you, Sherry. All right. I want to make a big thank you to Pat Kinney and Dick Johnson for service above self. They walked in today and we asked them if they would help us out with 50-50 and as greeters. So thank you too for that. And Dick, you want to come up with a 50-50?
Thank you, Ruth. We've got $40 for the winner today, and I'll ask our guest speaker to draw a winning ticket. Okay. Last 4 numbers, 1594. Andy? Thank you very much. Right back into the pot.
Right there. All right, and asked to make a command performance for today's Sergeant at Arms. Here comes Greg Jones. Whoop, whoop.
Well, Joelle Washer gave me this $5 bill, and I didn't know that she missed me that much. But then maybe it's not for me, so I will put it in the pot. And I'm going to let you know that Madam President and I had a little discussion, and she said, do you think that all the people who should be looking at the Rotary site and updating their page are doing that? And I said, I don't even know if they know we have a Rotary page. So she said, can you fix it? And I said, well, I will give it a shot. So you will be getting an email from me with all the particulars, A, B, C, D, how to do it easy, easy, easy. And you can put your picture on there also. So get a good one and you can put that on there. But back in the day, that was, if I needed to contact somebody, that was a prime place to go to do that. So please do that and put that in there because it's really important. So I will be sending that out sometime this week after I procrastinate for a while. And now on to the business of getting a few bucks. So one thing I would like to say is hello to somebody sitting in the back. You may not recognize him, but his name is Phil Calla. He is, welcome back, Phil. He's newly retired from the county, and then he rehired himself part-time. So he still has a job. Nice to see you, Phil. Oh, wow. That was a number on that card said 220. And, yes. Article in the Post Journal, the PJ, Chautauqua Blind Association Vision Rehab White Cane Ceremony was a success. And I believe we have somebody here from that association. Joni. 60 people walked around Baker Park and 58 came back. Thank you. I know it, dear. I know it. So a nice photo article in the PJ about the Chautauqua Lake Association finishing up their work on Chautauqua Lake. Doug is not here, so I can't find him. So if you have physically been on Chautauqua Lake this summer, you owe me $1. If you've been on the lake, you owe me $1. That's a pretty cheap deal. Nope, on the lake. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take the 20. Thank you, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, while you're up here, I think I have someplace here, something about Andy Goodell is happy to pay an additional $1 celebrating cousin Roger Goodell's contract extension with the NFL. So congratulations.
I was very disappointed to see that he earns less than $1 million a week.
Ah, yes, the Goodell family. They're quite a crew. Hello, John. John put in 20 because he was swimming in the lake all summer. And he can swim. There was also a nice article in the Post Journal about the historical marker about Selrod Amusement Park being installed at the Village Park. From 1894 to 1962, that site was the home of the I must be talking medicine, Coney Island of Chautauqua. If you have ever physically visited that park, now this cuts out a lot of people that I'm looking at. you owe me $1. If you have physically ever been to the old Cell Run Park. Okay. There you go. One person. That's it. My wife. Okay. Honesty is the best policy. Okay, the city was awarded, you should be happy with this, my dear, $17 million for electric infrastructure upgrade by the U.S. Department of Energy. Thank you, thank you. That's a big deal. And if you are a user of the BPU electric division for your electricity, you can join Becky Robbins, the retired BPU employee, Sue Jones, Sue Jones is retired, Becky's still working, and kindly put $1 in my pocket. So if you get cheap electricity that us people on National Grid don't get, want some money. And with a smile. It is a cheap $1. There was a very nice article in the Post Journal about adult curling. Do we have any curlers here? No? By the way, Joelle Washer gave me $5. I put it in there, Joelle. I didn't keep it. Okay. This is exciting news for the city, and I think for everybody that's addicted to caffeine. A new Tim Hortons location is eyed for Brooklyn Square at the old Sambo's location. You have to be really old to know that was the name of it. Sounds like a great addition to me, to Jamestown, as well as for the Tirana family. Some good thinking company. Some good company thinking. I got you again, Mike, so that was a smart move. Some good company thinking came up with that plan. I hope it happens. If you have visited a Tim Hortons 5 or more times in the last 12 months, just 5 or more times, you owe me $1. And I don't know if everybody read that article, but they're like, that store location is like the 3rd busiest in the United States. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm getting close to the end. Now, Mike Roberts is taking care of this, but part of his $20 is going to our exchange student, Jochen, who scored a goal for Southwestern. Congratulations. Four goals. Good thing you put in 20. So a few more things, and then I'm going to get out of here. In 1987-88, speaking of Folio Plus, our club members reached into their own pockets, and 100% of our membership at the time pledged what amount to the new Folio Plus drive? Did they pledge 14,596? Thank you. 25,650, 39,464, or 55,414? And I'm going to pick Chris, your table. You certainly know the answer back there. I can do that again. 14 plus, 25 plus, 39 plus, or 55 plus. Somebody at the table had to be listening. No? No answer? 29 is your answer? No, you are wrong, so you owe me $1. It was 55,414. And quiz 2, and then I'm about done. Who can I get here? Let's see. Pat Kinney is falling asleep, so I'll call on her table. The November Rotary magazine lead story was what? Of November issue. What was it about? And don't get mad at me. My wife said I had to put this in. Okay, the answer is no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not really sorry. It was Rotary helping stop suicides. That was the answer. And I'm not going to do, does anybody here want to put in a buck for a winning football team? I can't do it because I went to Syracuse. So if you have a winning football team, call it out and come on up. Be fast. Be fast. And there you go. And last but not least, and then I'm done and out of here. Every day, I'm like Andy Goodell. I wear my Rotary pin because I'm proud to be a Rotarian. And so if you are wearing your Rotary pin today, you don't owe me anything. If you're not wearing your Rotary pin, you owe me $1, and I'll see you in another 3 years.
A big round of applause for Greg. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes. Look at it's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So, while people are doing that, all right. Very good. So hopefully we won't cover up the speaker as she speaks today. So thank you all very much for anybody have any money left for Happy Bucks? Couple of people. Come on.
First, this is a reminder that if you don't have cash, you can pay your Happy Bucks online. No excuse, folks. That's what I'm doing here. I'm also on the board of the Humane Society, and we have a great fundraiser coming up. If you'd like to buy a chance, $5, chance to win $500, $300, $250. So see me afterward if you're interested. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. And boy, I got a wad of cash here because I have a lot to be happy about. Okay. All right. So we had a fabulous RV trip. And just some of the things we did. We went to Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Yeah. And so we stopped at the Little Bighorn National Monument. Awesome. Glacier National Park and a red bus tour. Craters of the Moon. Grand Teton National Park with a float trip on the Snake River, Yellowstone National Park, and we got to see the first snowfall of the season. And we were leaving. We were glad to be leaving because they brought the snowplows out and then they closed the pass that we drove over. Devil's Tower, and I got Lou to hike it. 20,000 steps. That's a new badge for me. And Lou thought he wasn't going to make it, but he did. And so we've had our feet on the ground in all 50 states. So that's a big accomplishment. Yeah. All right. So we came back, and 3 days later, we left for our third trip to the International Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, which was fabulous. On the way, we had a steak dinner at the iconic Route 66 Big Texan Steakhouse. I don't know if you've ever been there, but that was fun. And believe it, we had fantastic weather and safe travels. And then, of course, I got to pay for all the 5 meetings I missed. And I want to give a big happy buck for the ongoing work of the Literacy Committee in my absence. And Melissa Myers for finalizing the documentation for our district grant. So all this, thank you.
Well, I'm personally glad the Meckleys are back because Lou Meckley is on the United Way board and we missed him at some of the meetings. I have a happy buck. This is a flyer that I put on your tables. This is something, it's an educational tool that we have developed this past year at United Way called the Alice Experience. Raise your hand if you're in this room and you have been through the Alice experience. See all those hands? We're doing sort of an open call Alice experience. If you would like to come to it, it's about an hour and a half, and you will learn about working families in our community and some of the challenges and barriers that they face. Alice is an acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. 48% of all households in Chautauqua County, there are 53,000 and some, are Alice or below. And so these are your clients, these are your customers, these are your patients, these are your constituents. So I encourage you to scan the QR code and sign up. It's November 1st at St. Luke's Undercroft. And we have some refreshments, and it has overwhelmingly been very positively kind of reviewed by many, many people in our community. So I would encourage you to sign up and learn more.
I'll do this quickly. Both of my happy bucks here have to do with our fellow Rotarians. On Saturday night, Peggy and I had an opportunity to go to the Jamestown Harmony Express. They had a wonderful concert over First Presbyterian Church, and they honored Bill Larson with the Award of Harmony. Hadn't seen Bill in a while, but I know he's occasionally on Zoom, but I want to put $1 in for that. And then also, I don't know if all of you are aware that we have a TV celebrity in our midst today. I mean, I'm sitting on my couch watching TV one night. All of a sudden, I see John Lloyd on television, advertising the new chairlift that they put in their home that allows them to, John and Jean, to go up and down the stairs comfortably, safely. But there's John and Jean. So I'm putting $1 in for those two individuals.
Is that payment step by step, John? I just want to mention again, last week we did a little fundraiser for the bicycles in Cambodia, and that is a wonderful project, and we sold out all the bicycles. And you were all very generous about that, and that's great. I still have 3. I'm still looking for a couple checks from a few people. So if you filled out a card and haven't given me a check, and you want to complete on that, that would be great. Thank you. Well, this is a project we're doing in cooperation with the Rotary Club in Singapore. And it was their idea to collect up 1,000 bicycles on the streets, recondition them, and send them up to Cambodia, which this club has a big connection with Cambodia because many of you worked with the Cambodia Academy for years and supported children there. And we know what a big game changer it is for a kid to have a bicycle in Cambodia. These kids walking 3 to 5 miles a day to school. And so these are going to be kids that are doing well in school and have needs. And we're really thrilled that we're going to have a chance to be there in January and be part of distributing those bicycles to kids. So we'll get some up close and personal pictures. Thanks.
RCJCSF. RCJCSF.
So I have a happy buck for the Jamestown Police Department. A little over a week ago, an individual stopped by my office and helped himself to my car that was in my driveway right next to my building. And I called. You can talk to my wife about where I should put my keys later. I called the Jamestown PD. They responded right away. And while I was filling out the report in the squad car, they put out an APB, and the Jamestown police caught the individual. He drove 1.5 miles before they caught him. And so I got my car back. I was obviously worried that somebody might try to flee, because that's very dangerous. Fortunately, my car was out of gas, so that was not an option. When I got into the car, a Sirius radio was on to a Christian music station. So hopefully that was helpful. But again, thanks to the Jamestown Police Department for the great work.
Thank you much, Andy. All right. Very good. Thank you for all the happy bucks and all the fines. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce Becky Robbins to introduce our speaker.
Okay, Kim Ecklund is the Republican endorsed candidate for mayor of the city of Jamestown. And in elected office, she has served as city council member at large in Jamestown since 2004. She's the finance committee chair and a member of the Jamestown Local Development Corporation. She's a member of the Parks, Recreation and Conservation Commission, Public Works Commission, the Riverfront Management Commission, among other committees. She worked as a member of the task force on efficiency and cost reduction. I remember that one. Kim has worked for 34 years at E-Solutions, which is formerly known as Bush Industries, in various finance positions. You can't hear? Down? Okay. Personally, Kim is Vice President and Public Relations Division Director of the Jamestown Babe Ruth World Series. She's an 18-year mentor with Chautauqua Striders and a planning member of the annual Buddy Walk. A lifelong Jamestown resident, Kim graduated from Jamestown High School, Jamestown Community College, and the SUNY College at Fredonia. Kim is married to her husband, Keith. Kim?
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm usually pretty loud anyway, as most will attest to. But first of all, thank you very much, not only for having me, but for the work that you guys do in this community, because it's truly insurmountable. You talked about a few subjects that personally are very near and dear to me. My aunt was a polio person who suffered with polio her entire life, but remarkably, with the work that you guys have done through the years, managed to live till her mid-80s. And I have also lost a family member to suicide. So thank you for your work. First and foremost, as Becky mentioned, I'm a lifelong Jamestown resident. I have been very active in this community. When I came home after college, my father instilled in me, and many people here may know my father. My father was Piney Johnson, who worked for the Parks Department in Jamestown as a city horticulturist for many years, that if I was going to be here, I had to become part of the community somehow, some way. So back at that point in time, I chose to get active in neighborhood watch and involved with public safety and taking a role in the community. Shortly thereafter, I became a mentor for Striders. And through that program, I have also inherited, which Becky didn't mention, because I inherited a son at the age of 17, as he lost his father his junior year in high school, and also have 2 grandchildren through him and his wife. So that program is very near and dear to me, and why I am still involved in that. And the honor and privilege of working with none other than Mr. Russell Dietrich and the Babe Ruth World Series is very near and dear to me in this community. So I've stayed very active in those. But why I'm running for mayor is another discussion. I've been on council, as Becky mentioned, since 2004. I'm very active in the financial side of the city. Unfortunately, the last few years, and fortunately, we've had some money bestowed upon us back from the US government that has enabled us to survive through COVID, help local businesses, more importantly, help the local community, help local residents. But that fund is running out, and obviously my strength is finance, and I am concerned of the role that Jamestown will have financially in the future. These funds are going to be expended in the next year and a half, and we have to be a sustainable city. So the basic premise of why I'm running is because we need to make Jamestown great again. There's some great things here. You guys are a small example of that. There's some great things that go on in the community. Very important to me is obviously youth. Very important to me is feeling involved. The biggest complaint I get is housing, and we can't take care of the housing issues, and we can't address some of those things if we're not financially stable. We've been able to do some of those things through grants through ARPA, and I've been very grateful to help the seniors, the less fortunate, and basically anyone through those grants. But we can't address the homelessness, the housing. All those things take money, and without money, not going to be able to sustain, much less improve. So as the Republican candidate, my push is definitely financial, because those things will come forward and we'll be able to continue, hopefully, some of those programs. With the ARPA fund, we have hired 8 public safety employees. With ARPA ending, those employees go away. I want to work and address financial to keep those very volatile persons. We have 4 firemen and 4 policemen. It's very critical that we keep that level of public safety. So those are my biggest initiatives. Obviously, I'm very active in the community and will remain whether I win or lose come November 7th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. I don't know if there's any really major issues. I know everybody's probably read about me. It's kind of late in the election season. It's been in the paper, things I've addressed, but obviously finance is the key. So the only other thing I will say that's different than Mayor Sundquist, I could not, even though I'm a member of council and I'm the finance chair, this work could not be done without other council members, other former administrations. In fact, we've been without a controller since December. So I unfortunately have had to step into a bigger role on the finance committee chair to make sure we're aligned, but also had to bring back a great individual who many people are familiar with, and that's Mr. Joe Bolito, to come back in part-time to try to help us. Unfortunately, we haven't closed 2022. So when I talk about what we're going to do in the future, it's kind of hard to talk about that. If we haven't closed 2022, I can't talk about expenses in 2023 and how 2024 is going to go. But I work with some great people, both in the city and on the administration, and as well as fellow council members to do what's best for this community.
Just curious, talked about losing grant funding. What are some of your ideas in terms of how you're going to fill those financial gaps?
So we're going to continue to look for grant funding. That's not going away. The big funding for the ARPA is going away. What I'm saying is those 4 positions that are filed through ARPA, they're not funded after ARPA after 2025 if we don't find additional funding somewhere. That could be in the budget, that could be grants, that could be, but obviously we all know we can't tax people anymore. Our businesses are struggling with, combined electrical rates, taxes. We need to work with our local businesses that are here and bring in some new smaller ones and smaller manufacturing. My work in manufacturing business is a huge asset to that, and we need to look outside the box.
Difficulty in finding a controller.
It's been very difficult. Controllers, as Joelle will know, people in finance are easy to find, but having someone who has, major budget experience as well as government is tough. And I'm adamant that the positions in the city are city residents, and that also limits your pool too. Yeah.
I like your idea of city residents. I'm involved with as many people here are with the Tarp Skunks, which is a baseball team, but it's also a community service. And you hear words. A couple weeks ago, I was in this meeting and we talked about community collapse. And I know that dollars and cents are necessary, but I also have felt recently there's just a total lack of identity in Jamestown, New York. There is no sense of vision for the future. There's no sense of people getting together and having a shared experience. And I'm just wondering if that is something that you could bring to the office.
Done that throughout my campaign. The motto of my campaign is, people over politics. I've spent my door-to-door going into people's homes to bring back neighborhood table talk, to get involved with your neighbors and talk about small. And we're not going to come in from the top and tell the community how to act. They have to tell us what they want, and they have to be part of the thing. You have to grow from the bottom up, and it's very important to me to have community members become active and make it feel like they're important and they're a voice.
Hi, I'm going to piggyback on David's question regarding vision. And I know in my experience through the years with elected officials or those that are running, they often talk about things they've done over their time in office. And that's wonderful. But I never hear a lot of people talk about their vision for the future. And so I guess my question is, is there a vision committee for Jamestown, or what is your greatest hope for Jamestown?
I have a lot of them, honestly. I want to see Jamestown thrive. And that may mean a new discourse. Like, let's take COVID, for example. The mix of downtown to those who work downtown have seen traffic go from here pre-COVID to down here. And it's not just because businesses have closed. It's because, like me, I work hybrid part-time. So the environment has changed. We got to think about how we're going to change to get people to come places. We also have to realize we're not going to bring in another Bush Industries very easily. Would I love to? Absolutely. But New York State makes that very hard, as most people know. But there's no reason we can't have 20, 50 person businesses, right? So what's going to be our niche? Is it technology? Is it what?
If I could ask a question. So we had folks from the YMCA come and talk about their vision for a new YMCA. Where does the city stand on this?
At this point in time, we did have a vote to give them some money through ARPA with the not-for-profits. Unfortunately, that failed council. I think the general concern, I voted in favor of it. The general concern is what, first of all, to come up with 30 million in today's world is tough. And the biggest concern is what's going to happen to the building on 4th Street is what I hear. We don't want another empty building downtown. Nobody does. So what's the vision for that building?
You talked about one of the biggest issues being housing. What is some of your plans for addressing housing and homelessness?
So one thing that we have done that recently is now the new housing fines, if you will, that we've instituted so that they don't get so bad. The problem that I'm seeing is that sometimes, well, there's a lot of problems. There's absentee landlords. There's, as you know, in your work, people don't have the funds necessarily to do things. So there's different reasons why people are homeless and why they can't fix up their house. Not everything is a one black and white reason. So we've initiated the ability to do some fining earlier to correct the problem so that these houses don't become so far blight. That's one. We need to engage the landlords a little bit more. And it's tough when you have landlords that live in Hawaii and Japan and wherever that have just bought homes randomly. The house may appear great on the outside, but what people are living with on the inside is sometimes hard. As far as homeless goes, we're going to continue that as well. I'm sorry. We're going to try to work. We have a new judge coming. Maybe that's an opportunity to pursue some other options, just like we have a drug court. Maybe there's some housing court initiatives we can do. I'm open to anything, but on every block that I went to, every neighbor had an issue with at least one home in their house, in their street. Whether it was blight, crime, it didn't matter. It's existent in every neighborhood across the city. So it has to be a combined effort tackle. We do have a new nuisance officer who has the ability to give charges and court dates and things, which has helped with some of our nuisance homes. And I think that's something we need to look at and continue. Again, that's one of those 4 officers and positions that we need to figure out how to keep. Again, like I said, with homelessness, it's not a one route thing. People aren't homeless because they choose to. They're there for multiple reasons. Some may be addicted to drugs or alcohol. Some may be that they're financially distraught. Whatever, we have to accept why they're there. We have to learn while they're there. One story I had when I talked to somebody who was actually living in a trailer and the neighbors complained about it. Their fear wasn't being homeless and living in a trailer. Their fear was being split apart. So we have to take all those things into consideration. With the new women's shelter, that may address some needs, but what else is there? UCAN has done some amazing things with turning some people around, and I think we need to continue to do that.
Is there a drug task force within the police department in the city of Jamestown?
There most certainly is. They are a member of, they used to be a member of the, I think it was Southern Tier. Now it's the Jamestown Metro Drug Task Force, but it involves town of Ellicott, also involves state police, county. Yes, they are very active and do a lot of things. Just recently in the last week, I've seen 3 or 4 major arrests that they've done.
Is there one last question? Well, very good. Well, I want to tell you, Kim, as you already heard, we do every speaker, we do an honorarium for them to the End Polio Now campaign. So we will be making a donation in your name for that. And we really appreciate you coming in and speaking with us today and being a part of this. And remember, our motto for this year is create hope in the world. And I think we need to really work on that. Thank you.